Alright folks, we still here on the Gabriel Tucker Bridge where the body of this old infant was found right here, right down here is the baby, and been here for hours and still the baby has not been removed. Talked to the police by the requisite authorities.
You people are Liberian now. You are the owner of Liberia. We are just yes, ma'am. So you can talk to the police. You can talk to the authority. Okay, somebody carries not just look at him. He's a human being now.
We've talked to the police.
He's a human being now.
Yes,
okay.
We've talked to the
he's
police.
He's a part of us. Huh?
Yes.
And look at we are put in on the ground. So disgusting.
Yeah, we've talked to the police.
And disgraceful.
We talked to the police, and the police made a call. And what was the response?
Why anybody take a car and carry to the DFP and
the response,
10 or 20% will go together. Nobody will blame them.
The response was they don't have fuel, and the police should pay $50 United States to get the $50 United States to get fuel for the ambulance to come and take the remains of the infant. 50 US dollars.
Oh.
This is it. He's actually frustrated over the situation, Damon. With us, as I said, upon responding to this scene, the fact that we as a country, we do not have a rapid or quick response time, and we have set protocols for such, at least in these situations. And the mandate of the police, law enforcement, is to protect lives and properties. As of when this baby was reported to have been found, if pictures were taken by the authorities, what if they would have said, okay, let's rush this baby to the hospital, the nearest health center, and see if we can preserve this infant's life. You know, if that was done, whether or not we wouldn't be discussing what we're discussing now. And after that wasn't done, because according to police officers I spoke with, they've got a set protocol for such, which someone will argue clearly does not preserve lives at all. You know, because there's no life preservation. Yeah, people have opted and people volunteered that they wanted to get this baby to the hospital. Others were asking the baby is alive, can they take the baby to the hospital? And the police was like, okay, we've been able to call the requisite authorities. I asked them whether they've called the requisite authorities, and they said yes. And we waited hours, again, no response. And another officer, a senior officer, made a call, and we did hear him say, where do you think we're taking money from? You know, where we're taking money from, apart from our salary, where we're taking money from. And later he revealed to us that he was asked to pay 50 USD for an ambulance to be dispatched to this location to get this baby from here. So because of that, according to him, that is why this baby is still here, unidentified baby, because we've been here, nobody said, oh, I know this baby, or I know the mother, you know, or I know the father, and all that sort. Mind you, it's also a very, very young baby, very, very young, a female with her ears pierced, you know, with her umbilical cord still attached. And it's tragic, you know. People were arguing what sort of person would do this. What sort of person would be brave enough to do this? And we cannot say whether it was the mother who did it, or whether somebody took the baby from the mother and disposed of her here. We cannot say how she got to be here, but the matter of fact is she's here, and it really rained last night. According to what some bystanders told us, was this baby was discovered 5 a.m. this morning, and she was still in the bag, and the bag was zipped closed. And this person, this male, unzipped the bag, thinking that probably somebody dropped their bag and there was something valuable or valuable items within the bag. And when he unzipped the bag, that is when he saw the baby and reported to the police station. And since that time, Rufus, this infant is still here from the rain. We do not know whether she was brought here before it rained or after it did rain. We do not know. But from the time we arrived here up to now, We have not seen a single emergency medical service officer. We've not seen a single. Let's see that lady. She says she's looking for a baby. Yeah. People looking for babies. She's got wedding band on her finger, and she's saying, "Look at the thing I'm looking for." There were other options available. Now let's delve into whether or not this baby was left here by the mother, right? And there were options available. You could have taken this baby to an orphanage. You could have left this baby at the doorsteps of one
center just right
person.
next door.
They have health center at Slipway. They have health center Claratown, Logantown, Bartown, up until Redemption. We've got health centers. We've got health centers all across here, all around. You know that this baby could have been deposited at and should have been alive properly. So we did see another ambulance pass. That's a police pickup. But whilst we were here, we did see an ambulance pass, and the police officer tried flagging the ambulance, and the driver didn't stop. Probably he was on his way to another assignment. But we're still here. This baby is still here. The weather has changed, a bit gloomy. Whether it's going to rain or not, we cannot tell you. But up to now, she's exposed, to the scorching sun with us.
It's so sad, Damon. What is so much painful here, seeing kids, school-going kids passing by and seeing the remains of this infant. It is emotionally driven. It has a lot of violation. It's about child abuse because a kid like that, right? That
Be
kid
exposed to a corpse.
exposed to a corpse. Psychologically, it will play on her. For every time it runs to her mind, that will cause a serious effect to her growth. That kid seeing this corpse. So, a lot more needs to be done. But everything we will say, people add politics to it. They will politicize it. And when you try to point out those ills, you've been seen as someone who's actually against the authority or against the ruling establishment, or those who should be doing the right thing and are not doing the right thing. It's so sad, Damon, at this time.
But why will an ambulance driver or those in charge of the ambulance allegedly be charging police officers 50 USD to respond to a scene and take the body away of an infant? Why would money be charged? Why would people be asked to pay that amount of money? Is government asking? Is one government entity asking another government entity, to carry out a duty that is their statutory duty, And as that police officer explained, you could tell the frustration from his voice, and we only ask that we do not name him because of the same thing. That okay, if you expose what's happening, you might be witch hunted.
Yeah.
But whatever the case is, the police don't want traffic congestion at this particular spot. This bridge is tight. And if you have bike riders, stopping here, keke riders and the rest, and everybody wanting to take a glimpse, it will definitely cause traffic congestion, right? So why not make sure, in order to stop the effect, go to the cause and get the cause solved? Because the effect of this cause here is traffic congestion, and then this is the cause. So why not get this baby removed from here and give her some humane treatment, since she has not been given humane treatment since she was left here in a degrading manner. Whether she was dead and left here, whether she was still alive when she was left here, we still cannot establish that. But there is absolutely no crime scene to be preserved, because we all have trampled back and forth here and there along where this baby has been left for dead, and the police officers have left the scene. So they've left the scene with us. So we don't have police officers here again. I'm looking left and I'm looking right, and I see another officer walking, trying to keep the traffic ongoing. But the numbers that were here, they're no longer here. And the onlookers, those wanting to get a glimpse as well, they're reducing as well. Let me see if I can talk to the officer quickly.
So this is it, folks. It's so degrading to see what you are saying here, and there's no action, prompt action being taken. You listen to the analysis and words proffered from authority of the ambulance told that of the police officer who made the call. This brings to mind the usage of the gas slips being given to ministers, government officials, and they are not used for those intended purpose. You have emergency response units who should be responding to cases like this. They don't have these petroleum in their vehicles to respond to these kind of scenes. But you have somebody carrying 50 gallons of fuel for a week, 50 gallons of fuel for a month, 100 gallons of fuel for a month, and not doing what is meant to be done. The usage of these fuel that has been given to these officials, you don't see it. But those institutions that are responsible to respond to these kind of things, they are crying for petroleum products to enable them get on crime scene.
So Rivers, the officer I tried speaking to, I asked him 2 questions. One, if they're still trying to get the ambulance here, his response, I don't know. And I asked him whether or not, since they cannot get the ambulance here, you know, if they will cover this baby, you know. He also responded by saying he doesn't know. All he told me was he's doing his traffic duty. That's what he's doing. So.
I was just saying 1 or 2 diamonds relative to the distribution of fuel or petroleum products to relevant institutions. You have a single official of government, right? Is being given 500 gallons of fuel for operation. And then you have an emergency response unit that should be responding to these kind of things, requesting from a police officer $50 United States to carry on their duty. And then those are given the bulk of fuel, the gas slips in the bundles, are not doing the job for which they should be doing.
2 things I can say, Rufus. One would be misplaced priorities, and the second would be we're in a country where the system does not work. And sometimes those who are down the line, like the person who allegedly asked the police officer to give 50 USD, that might not be the mandate from his or her supervisor or someone who's above him or her, right? But people tend to do their own things as well. You know, people tend to do their own things. The man say like they pay Italian bill go get eat. You know, there might be few for the ambulance to move, for him to be dispatched to this location. But he or she will say, okay, what do I stand to benefit? So sometimes people demanding things comes from themselves, not their bosses, and sometimes it comes from their bosses as well. So we run a system that doesn't work. Yeah, sorry to say, but that's the fact. The system only works for those who can make it work for them. That's what it is. So if this was in the interest, like we have a lawmaker, I'm sure if he's not in the country, you know, he has got his deputies and lieutenants watching to even pressure whatever health center or whoever it is to say, okay, we do not want such a thing. That baby has been there for a long period of time, to exert the requisite authority. We have people who've got influence. We've been live for hours now. And we're not seeing that influence. I listened to one bike rider who said, we've got the authority to arrest our bikes, but you still haven't done anything to get this baby from here. So those officers here, they said they've tried their best, but their best is not good enough. And this is where we expect others to say, okay, we saw this on Spoon TV, it's still live on Spoon TV. It's not a good site, it's a gruesome site. We need to get our baby from there so that people can go about their normal activities, so that people don't be exposed, you know, to the stench of a decomposing corpse, you know, and so as to avoid traffic congestion. So let's get that baby from there. And this is where we are. So,
Damo, you observed something, the police were actually working, or right after all the people that were pressed there that the emergency team, every one of them left.
Yeah, they've left. That alone can break anyone valve. You have the energy to come and do what is required, but those who you should be working along with, giving you a negative vibe, what do you expect? It kills anyone's energy.
Rufus will remain here, but we'll turn off the live, we'll switch off the live feed, and we'll keep engaging. But before we go off, before we end this live podcast, all we want to say is if you're watching and you know the right people to call, we're calling on the JFK, we're calling on the Ministry of Health, we're calling on the Liberian National Red Cross, we're calling on the CSD department there at the Liberian National Police. We're calling on everybody who's got the right connections to call the authorities, the requisite authorities, to come and get this infant from here. She has suffered enough already.
Her mother crying.
Yeah.
At the back there.
Yeah. And she's working on something. Today is National Red Cross Day. Yesterday we celebrated Mother's Day. And this is it. We cannot solely lay the blame at the feet of the mother because, as I said, we do not know how she got to be here. But the bottom line is, this is a baby, so young, very, very young, an infant, still with an umbilical cord hanging. So please contact them. We're here at the Gabriel Tucker Bridge. The scene wouldn't be a difficult one to spot because it's crowded. It's the crowdest of all scenes along the Gabriel Tucker Bridge. So you can stop there with an ambulance, those responsible to get this baby from here and give her a proper burial if that's what they will do, or if there will be any investigation, whatever they will do, just to get this baby from here. Rescue 2 of the LNP, you need to respond. That's where I started.
So like Jess said, we are calling on the relevant authority, like Dama said, to responsibly respond so that the corpse of this infant be taken away. And she was a silly scene. Who knows? If she would have grown up to be one of the proud daughters of the land. What shocked me was a foreigner. The man we earlier talked to.
Yeah, he looks Indian.
Yes. He said, she's part of us. What are they doing to get the baby from being in the open? She's part of us. What is the authority doing? That sends a negative signal. People may politicize, but this sends a negative signal. A foreigner. So we leave it at that, Dama. We call it a day while we are still here.
Yeah, we'll still remain here. We'll remain here until this baby's corpse is removed from here. So it's a wrap for now, and we're hoping that the relevant authorities will respond.
I'm out.